Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good day. This video is for answering the feedback from I think I will answer the feedback from you all, especially for the feedback for this week, which is week 3 materials, where we already start with the introduction into C programming. Okay, so the first question that I get is that this one. Okay, in type of operator, we have an example about assignment operator type, which is A equal A plus B, and it say that we can write it as A plus equal B. My question is that can we write it as A equal plus B or not? Yes, you can write, okay, that you can write that in that way, but actually the meaning is different. Okay, so okay, the question is in the slide, A equal A plus B can be written as A plus minus B, but can we write as A equal plus B? Of course, if you write in this way, this actually does not similar with A plus minus B. Okay, it's not similar at all. The meaning is not similar. It's not similar. Okay, because A again, A plus equal B is actually the meaning is A equal A plus B. But if you write in this way, okay, in this way, then it become it actually also equal to A equal B. Okay, again, if you write A plus minus B, it actually equal to A equal to B. Or let's say I give some example, you write in this way. Sorry, I make a mistake there. It's not like this. This one is equal to here, but if you write in this way, this is the one that A equal to B. So if you, let's say I give some example, A, if you write in this way, A equal plus B plus 1, then this one, the other meaning of this one is actually A equal B plus 1. Okay, so it's like this symbol actually don't functioning at all. Okay, so again, if you write in this way, because this plus is not functioning at all, that's why A equal to B. So this also have improved by, of course, in this week, even the because the individual lecture delivered by Dr. Tan, he just give you some idea behind this topic, which point is the important one. The rest you need to do some exercise. Okay, the exercise you can do meanings that you need to do the tutorials given, and as well as you can do some self exercise by seeing any other sources, and then you can see what is the meaning by the variables, data type, and so on. And then you can test all this operation by using the online compiler if you are not sure what actually the operation is all about. Okay, for example, you can prove this one. Just go to your online compiler, and then you can test. I test one. Okay, for example, this one. Okay, you can see that I declare one variables b. Okay, one variable b where the data type is integer equal to 1, and then another variable called a, the data type is integer equal to 10. And then if I execute in this way, a equal plus b, like I said, if the plus is after the equal, then it's similar to, you know, it's similar to actually it's similar to a equal b. Okay, a assigned the b assigned to a. Okay, or the a is assigned with b value. So if I print the a here, so I print the a, so if I run the code, I get 1, because the value of b initially is 1, and then if I execute this one, like I said, is equal to a actually equal to b. Then if I print a, I get 1. So if I put the plus first before I put the equal, then if I execute the code, now it become 11, because this one is equivalent to a equal to a plus b. Okay, now let's go to the next question. This one I don't really understand. The declare variable part on the slide in the video. What is the meaning by global and local? Okay, this one I hope, I believe that we will discuss again. Okay, because this one is related to I don't know which chapter. Actually, it's a it's related to function. Okay, later when we achieve at the chapter called function, then we will discuss this more detail. Actually, what is the meaning by declaring global? What is the difference between global variable and local variables? Is that if you declare the variables outside the function, then it can be considered as a global. So again, like this one, the example that given by this slide. Okay, this one, why they call it global function? Because you are declaring outside this main function or outside other function. Let's say you create more function, instead of you having one function which is the main function, you have more function that you declare by yourself. But if you declare that variable outside that function, then that is called global variables. But if you declare the function like this one inside the function, then it is called local variables. So what is the difference? If you I think the word globals there means that function, means everything for that function. Meaning that they call it global variables. I'm sorry, the word global, it's referred to, you know, is the meaning of that variable. Meaning that the global variable is the one can be accessed by all function. So that's why that is happened, because of course when you are declaring some variable which is outside the function, then all function actually recognize that, because that variable is declared outside. So everybody can, you know, share together that variables. Main function can access this pi, and maybe you have some other function can also access this pi. But for local variable, where you declare the variable inside the function, for example, you declare some variable like this one, floating radian, float radian. So the radian can only be accessed by this main function. Let's say you create another function here. Okay, you can create another functions there. Just I think better for me to write here. So you have, you know, you have one maybe we can have a new one. Okay, we go back, and how to do that? Okay. Okay. uh, Hopefully this will discuss later in function, in chapter called function. Okay, you have, you know, integers main function. Okay, integer main function. I see back the slide. Okay, integer main function, and then you have the curly brackets there. Okay, and then you have another function here called integer area. Let's say actually this purpose of this function is to calculate the area, and then you have some argument there, and then this is the curly bracket that opening that function and closing that function. So let's say I declare float length equal to 17.5. So let's say here, of course, in this main function, let's say I want to, you know, to do some operation with length, the variable called length equal to length plus 8. Okay, so if you want to do something like this, actually it's wrong, because the function, or the I'm sorry, the variable length is here is referred to this length. If you want to do some program, might be this length is referred to this length, but this length, the variable length here, is a local variable for this function. So main function cannot access this one. Okay, that is the difference between global and local. If you are declare the variable locally inside this area, inside this function called area, then the main function cannot access the local variable of this function unless you don't put it here. Okay, you don't put here, you put outside the function, declare here float length equal to 17.5. now it's become a global variable. So if it become global variable, this function can access this one, even this function can access this one. Okay, now we go for the third question. Okay, third question and third response: not fully understand the node because cannot see when they will be used and how to apply. Of course, like I said, this one you need to do some exercise, do some tutorial, and you also need to find the information from other source, not just depend on the nodes that we give to you. And then you can try all the things. If you don't sure the operation, you can try all the operations in this online compiler and see the result, and you will understand what is the meaning of each and every operation happens there. Okay, the number 4, no, but I have a tutorial for this part. I think I can understand. Okay, they're the same things. Okay, and then honestly still yes, but with the practice it will be way more open to me. Yes, like I said before, you must do a lot of you know, exercise, not just depend on tutorial. You must also see there's a lot of website sharing the programming information. Okay, and even if the sources is come from C++, it's also acceptable, because C++ and C is not so much different, just a small difference. So the format is almost similar, then you can also go for that source as well. And then overall I am about to clear about this kind of direction to see later. I will do some tutorial. Okay, same. And then I wonder how can we remember all this code before start programming. Yep, the training, and once you do a lot of training, then you will be familiar with everything's there. Okay, and I still have some difficulty to understand the increment and decrement part. Okay, for the increment decrement part, increment and decrement part. Are you referring to this one, increment and decrement part? Yeah, increment and decrement part. So what is the difference between A plus plus or plus plus A? Okay, like the one that is described in that slide there, A plus plus is increment by 1 after executing that statement, meaning that once you execute that statement, the A it will increment by 1 after, meaning that at that line it will not it will use the original value of A before it change according to what you write here. Let's say the A equal to 10, and then at that line A will still equal to 10 after finish execute that line. Then that statement it will increment by 1, but different from this one, plus plus A, it will start to increment first before it return that statement as the new value, meaning that once you execute that statement, it start to change from the original value, because the original is A equal to 10. Because of this statement, it will become 11 first, then it will proceed first 11. Okay, it will proceed the 11, it's not proceed 10, but this one it will proceed 10 in that line. Okay, maybe I can give you, I think later I will show you some examples there. Okay, even let's go for let's first try this one. Okay, again, if you want to understand all these things, again you need to run in the online compiler, otherwise you don't know what happened. Okay, so I just comment this one, and then I assume my A equal to 10. Okay, I just write of course if you write A plus plus, what happened to the A? So if I run the code, of course A plus plus is A equal A plus 1. That's why the result is 11. So what happened if I put plus plus A? You still get 11, right? But what actually the difference? The difference is a very small difference. That can be proved by I think there's someone asking about this one. Okay, I remember, I think feedback number what. Let's skip this one first. I go to the one feedback there. Oh, where is that feedback? Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. Okay, because the student asking about I want to know what happen if I use the I don't understand anything related to increment and decrement operator. For example, how to get how actually the example get 33 if B equal to 10. Okay, I want to know what happen if I use the long integer bit even. Okay, let's because there's a two questions there. Okay, I put it another one. Okay, this one. Okay, this one I think it's discussing about this slide. I think this slide, where the slide? Yep, this one. So okay, this one, because let's B equal to 10, then how can B can equal 33? Okay, so we try to execute this one through our compiler. Okay, we go to our compiler. Okay, because this example they're using B, then I just I just change it into B. Okay, we comment this one and then comment this one. I make this one as a instruction. let's b equal to 10. The question is let b equal to 10, and then the operation is that what is the operation? The operation is plus b plus b plus b plus b. Okay, I just declare one variables there to store the result from this operation. Integer c equal to plus b plus b plus b. So don't forget to put a semicolon there, and then I print my result. Okay, I print my result c there. So after you run, you will get 33. Okay, before I discuss that, let's play around with this one. Instead of plus b, I put b plus plus. What happened if I put b plus plus? Or maybe we don't have to change that one, b plus b. Okay, I just copy this one, then I create another statement there, but this one the result is integer d, but the result is for b plus plus. Okay, and then I just print I think this one backslash end. So the result will not display at the same line. I just want to make sure that it's not displayed at the same line. D. Yep. So this is the result of C. This is the result of D. So what is the difference there? Okay. Before that, this result is depend on this one. Okay, let's. I need to initial back my code there. Okay, like that. So integer, because you have in this operation you have changed the b value. So if you execute this statement, the b now is not 10 anymore. It's actually depend on what have been changed in this operation. So in order for me to maintain my b equal to 10, I need to to assign back b equal to 10 before I execute this one. So now we can see the difference between this one and this one. So if I run, so this one, if you are running this operation, now it equal to 33. But if you run this statement, your d, actually the result of this operation become 32. So what happens actually, again, when the compiler or the CPU execute this instruction, of course it will see the left hand side statement first. Okay, of course it will read from here going to that way. It's not going from this point to that point. Okay, the CPU will read at the left hand side first, so it will read as a C. Okay, now it is C, and then equal to, because you put a plus before you put B, then it will, now the original value, or the original value of B is 10, but because you increase okay, again, if you refer to this slide, okay, the difference, okay, when you have a plus A, the increment by 1 before execute the statement. So means that if the original value is 10, it increment by 1 before it execute. Now the B will become 11. Once the B become 11 plus B, that B now is a new B, which is 11. So that's why this make B become 11. The second operation here used B, where that B now is according to the new B. That's why it become 11 plus 11 plus 11. That's why you get 33. but it's different from this one. This one, it will increment after the execution, meaning that if you have a b plus plus, the plus plus will make it increment by 1 after execute this statement. So after you execute this line, b will become 11, but or it will maintain the original value of b, which is 10. So that's why actually this is 10, this is 10, this is sorry. So that's why after I'm sorry, I do it. I try to explain again. So once you have this kind of statement, only this one will maintain the originals b. Okay, b. So the original b is 10, but after you put plus plus, it will make the b change into 11. So that's why this b become 11, this one become 11, but this one maintain 10, because you are only execute increment by 1 after you execute this one. So that's why at this one b is maintain 10, but because of plus plus, that will make this b become 11 and this one become 11. But this one, you make it plus plus first, means that the CPU will give a priority to this plus plus to happen, that make this whole statement become 11. So of course this b will copy this one because it's already 11, so 11 plus 11 plus 11 become 33. But this one maintain the original one because of plus plus. Now b become 11, that's why this b 11, this one b, this b is 11, but this one is maintained 10. So 10 plus 11 plus 11, it become 32. I hope that will answer that. Hope that is make you clear about that doubt. Okay. And then the second issue is I want to know what happen if I use data type long, integer 32-bit, even I know the input and output of my programming will just 8 or 16-bit. Okay, if you talk about integer, it's the same integers number, it's a round number. It can be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If you talk about the that is the integers. It's integers. It's different from the floating number, floating point. Floating point, you have 1.0, 1.15, that is floating. So it doesn't matter how many bits, it depend. This one is related to your digital your electronic digital system, electronic digit class. Okay, if we talk about 8-bit, then the round number you can have is from 0 to how many? If you about 8-bit, from 0 to 255, so you can have 0, 1, 2, 3. The minimum is 0, the maximum is 255. So if you put 16 bits, so you can have from 0, 1, 2. There's no floating number, you only have a round number, 0, 1, 2, 3, up until what, 65k. If I so you need to I also forget the formula, 2 to the power of 16 minus 1. You must measure that. If you are using a 32-bit, means that 2 to the power of 32 minus 1. So from 0 to 2 to the power of 32 minus 1, that is the range of number. The bigger the range, doesn't matter. It's still, if the numbers is not achieve the maximum value, it still can be stored, even you are using 16 or 8 or 16 bits. Because the range now it become very very wide if you are using 32 bits. The issue is, let's say your numbers is for example, you are using let's say again 8-bit can from 0 to 255. Okay, 2 to the power of 8 minus 1. Let's say you want to use you want to store the value of, let's say, 300 is more than 255, which cannot be stored at 8 bit. You must use a 16 bit, but you still push that 300 to be stored at variables, integer variable with 8 bit. So what will happen, in general, the computer will take the maximum one. Even you store that 300 to variable with integers 8 bit, that 300 will become 255 in the programming. It will take the highest one. Okay, that is the issue. But that will become the problem, because the question is, you want to have a small range number, you have only small range number, but you put it in the long variables. So for that case, there's no issue. Okay, because the range is still can be catered by this wide range of 32 bits. But if you have a small range like 8 bit, but you put the biggest number than that range, then the compiler or the CPU will only set the value of the maximum it can achieve. It will not go into that value. Okay, and then I don't understand the use of floating in arithmetic, page 25 to 26. Page 25 to 26. Okay, for this slide, I think you can skip. I think you can skip the slide, the slide at the page 26. But for 25 is actually the way how you can write the floating point. Okay, it's like your Excel. Okay, sometimes you can have 23.7, and then if you want to make it in floating number with 2, then you can have a 23.74. So okay, I think for slide 25 and 26 you can skip about that. Okay, it's a little bit complicated there. Okay, you can skip that. Okay, now we'll go to the other question, the other issue. I'm still unclear about the data types. Okay, about the data types, I don't know what things you are not clear with. So data types is the one that discussed earlier, integers, floating, that's data type. Okay, of course, when you want to declare some variables, you need to declare the data type first. That's why in my programming I put integer a equal to 5. That means my variables is a. Okay, let's go back to my codings there. Okay, for example, this one. So this is my variables. Sometimes this figure here is called literal. So I assign literal is something which cannot be changed. Okay, if the value is 10, it's 10. Okay, variable is the one that can be changed, because after you assign some literal with you assign literal or numbers or data into these variables, then this variable can be changed. That's why you can do some operations there. Now the b is changing, so that's why this b is called variables. But of course, to declare before you can use the variables, you need to declare the data type that this variable can store. So that's why before you use b here, you must declare the data type. This is the data type, integer. So now my b can only store the literal of or data which is in the type of integer, means that from 0, it can be 0, it can be 1, 2, 3, is a round number. So if you want to use a floating number, then you must declare the data type here as a float. So that is the meaning of that data type. Okay, I think I hope you clear about that. Okay, I think that one is you want to discuss about the data type. Which slide is that? This one. Yeah, so that is the data type. This one is just to explain the range. Okay, the range of the data. if you are of course, why we in programming we need to declare the variable first before we can use it, before we can use it to process. Is it you want to do arithmetic operation, logic operation, and so on? Because for example, why the issue is why we need to declare the variable that we want to use first. Is it this variable is belong to float or integer or char and so on? It's because once you run the coding, okay, when the CPU find out you are declaring some variables here, it will allocate a memory space inside the RAM for you. So then you know that's why if you are using, let's say you declare integer b equal to 10, so because you only want one variables where the type is integer, then okay, that is only the CPU only when they find out you want one variable called b and the data type of this variable is integer, it will allocate 2 byte for you or 4 byte for you inside the RAM. Because of course you need to, you know, in your computer, it's not just the C compiler is running. You have a lot of apps there. For example, like my computer over here, I open the Firefox, okay, Firefox web browser. I open my PDF, and I open a lot of apps there. Of course, every apps here, when they open, of course they initially, before they execute any operation inside that apps, they will ask the CPU, hey CPU, let's allocate some memory for me because I need this type of memory space to running this app. So same go to your C compiler. When you run your coding, you must ask the CPU, hey CPU, I want 4 byte for my variable b because that variable b is integer. So that's why if you know, when you are declaring some variable which is float, double, and long double, you need a lot of space. Okay, that's the meaning of this is the range there. Okay, if you are using a char, that's a 1 byte, short is 2 byte, and then integer 4 byte. So if you are using a lot of floating number, then you need a lot of memory space to be allocated at your RAM. Of course, if your RAM is full, then your computer become more and more slow. So that's why if you open too many apps, too many software in your computer, you might need to turn off some of it. Okay. Okay, now I would like to answer the feedback from the feedback for the second week, which is related to solving chapter solving problems. Some of the respondents said that the doubt that you have is repetition of control structure, because you need to you know, give some detail. Otherwise I don't know how to explain to you. Is it I need to explain all about the repetition control structure or what? Okay, the second response, I don't understand why in the slide that procedure code is easy to modify than the flowchart. In what term to be said like that? Because the flowchart have a shape to be sketched, and it's hard to erase whenever I have a mistake or what, because I prefer to use flowchart then. So I want to analyze which one have more cons. Okay, I agree with you. Even based on my personal opinion, flowchart is easy is compared to pseudocode, because sometimes because when you become okay, because my research expertise is in computer vision and AI, so I involve a lot of doing codings. Okay, so after you are have a very long experience doing coding, you find out that it's very hard to differentiate between pseudocode and the programming itself. Later you will confuse. Is it you want to write the ones like 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 essay, or you want to just leave it like the code itself? Is it you are using a C ke, you are using a Python ke, and you will that format will affect you in writing a pseudocode. Sometimes we it's not very consistent to have a very consistent format in writing a pseudocode. Sometimes you are too influenced by the C format, C programming format, C programming syntax, that's make your pseudocode like C programming. So that's why sometimes it's better to see graphically, because flowchart is standard. Okay, if you have a diamond shape, it should be diamond. If you have a oval shape, it should be oval. So you are not changing that. But is pseudocode, sometimes you write the pseudocode like C format. Sometimes if you are a Python programmer, you are writing the pseudocode like Python programmer, and so because you are not you are influenced by that coding language, because you have maybe long experience writing the code. So you don't know how to write the pseudocode anymore. And yeah, I think maybe in Dr. Tan's video lecture, he said pseudocode is easy because of that. Maybe of course you will, when in flowchart, if you sketch, of course yeah, it's very hard to erase whenever have a mistake or what. I think that is the one that Dr. Tan concern is all about. But still I prefer flowchart, okay, to do some design, to solve, to do some sketching before you can write the real program. It's better to present it in flowchart. Okay, is it necessary for us to use IPOP symbol in our flowchart, or we can do a full process without using it? Actually, it depends. In some code, let's say if you're writing a code, and your code, for example, hello world, print f hello world, that is actually when you are print, that is output. You are your program give the data. The data is hello world sentence, or the hello world string, hello world string. You send it to the output, where the output is your screen monitor. So that's why in general printf is referred to the output, and the input is when you are using a scanf. Okay, you might try to search what is scanf. Scanf is it will wait for the user to key in some data, so then you need to use the output symbol, which is the oval symbol. Okay, is it the oval symbol? I also don't know the oval symbol. So input and output. Input is when the user key in the data, you using a scanf in C programming, and then if you are using printf, that is also the output. But sometime in our in solving exercise, or maybe test or exam, we sometimes if the question don't ask you to print the output, then you don't have to put that symbol. Maybe they just write the operation, like for example, I give you an example. Okay, like this one. Let's say I don't print my coding. Okay, I don't have printf. I just want to run this code. But of course, if I run this code, I don't see the result because I don't have printf. So that's why if I run, I cannot see the result. Okay, the coding is have been executed, but I don't find the result because I don't have printf. So if you are talking about this program, then there's no input, there's no output. You don't have to have that oval symbol. For like this one, this is a rectangle, and this one another rectangle, and this one is another rectangle, this one is another rectangle. So you don't have any start and end as well. And input, sorry, forget that one. The oval one is start and end. The input output symbol is not that one. Sorry, I forget that one already. Let's see the slide. I also forget there. Sorry. Where is the slide? Okay, this is the slide. Sorry about my confuse because my explanation there is a little bit confused. I forget that I thought that input output is this terminal symbol. Okay, terminal symbol is the start and end you must put, and then the process is in square, and then this, okay, the trapezoid is the input or output symbol. Again, if you are using printf in your coding, then you must put a trapezoid. Okay, that represent your output symbol. But if you are using a scanf, okay, if you have scanf, later you do some programming, you ask the program is waiting for the user to keep in some data, that is scanf. Then that will become that is represent, if you are writing if you are design the flowchart, that scanf must be represented by the trapezoid symbol. Okay, but of course, again, like I said in my example over here, if I don't have printf and if I don't have scanf, now it's just you have a terminal start there, and then one rectangle for this one, another rectangle for this one, another rectangle for this one, another rectangle for this one, and then you stop or you end with that terminal symbol. See, we don't have any trapezoid at all. Okay, but if you start writing printf, then you must have the trapezoid. So what are the next question? Okay, hope doctor can answer this given exercise in the slide. Okay, this one I will give you later. I will discuss later about this exercise. So far I clear what have been taught in the video, and from the video can understand well, but I think more understand is doing the exercise later. Yep. Okay. Hopefully I can try to check back the example in the slide there. Okay, maybe I discuss one or two example in the slide. I think might someone can can give me the suggestion which one is you want me to discuss. Okay, maybe you can message me in the WhatsApp group, because of course I will not discuss all. The one that is is challenging for you. Okay, maybe you can be one or two. Okay, one or two example only. I will explain one or two question there, because there's a several question, right? So just give me two, I will explain if you want.